Welcome to a special 6-part series of interviews for the United Voice News. We continue tonight with part 2 of the interviews with Ramesh Ramlochan, former bodyguard and driver of the Panday family. What you're about to hear is once again a full account from Ramesh himself of his tenure with the Pandays family. You will not want to miss this after seeing the first one. It was exciting and insightful, and once again we bring to you this exciting and insightful continuation. So sit back, relax, get your chubbies, get your drinks, and get your popcorn. Before I can't say anymore, let's go back to a little bit more to the happier times. Tell us about some of the time that you spent with the Panday families and some of the things that you've done for them during your 5 year stint with them.
Well, I've done a lot, but one of the most pressing times was during Mr. Panday's case. Oh, that time I would take from early o'clock till late, making sure papers reached to the courts. Mr. Ramlochan could testify to that. Even they had 2 minutes to reach from the opposition office across town to get a paper signed by affidavits. He said, anybody, I said, yeah, sure, I could get you there on time. Or to the court on time to get this thing or this affidavits here or there. Up and down during his case. I was the one who was there. I was the one who logged in around people, including Mr. Warner then, to making sure the bail get this and the that. Everybody used to be loaded up, and I was there all the time during his case. You understand? Everything that took place in that case, his daughter riding up and down, whatever. You understand? I took them around.
Now, Ramesh, I still dealing with Mr. Panday. We'll get into the other members of the family. Mr. Panday is purporting that Mr. Warner has never taken bail for Mrs. Panday. Mr. Warner never paid their salaries when they were ill for they were not being paid for the 8 months, for the 12 months, sorry, and during the 2018 situation. Tell us your knowledge on these issues, because you were side by side with Mr. Panday. You know, how close was Mr. Warner and Mr. Panday? And from your knowledge, what has transpired?
That I think is what you use word absurd or ludicrous. Everybody should know that Mr. Warner did pay the salaries, and Mr. Warner carried the election, all the offices that had extra, the amount of hundreds of people that was on a payroll because of Mr. Warner. The country knows that. The only person that doesn't know it is Panday. I guess it's because of his senility or something like that. The whole nation, the world by far, know Mr. Warner carrying the UNC. You understand? It's only Panday alone know that. And you could tell Panday, the sun don't shine and he stand up there in the middle of the sky. He say no, is no, because he's BASDEO Panday.
Now, Ramesh, I want to touch on another subject. You know, many people talk about the woman behind the man is what often sends a man either crazy, makes him a great man, and so forth. From your aspect of things, tell me, Mrs. Panday, give me some insight on her dealings with you, her dealings with Mr. Panday and the family, and what you've seen, as well as her dealings with people politically.
Well, Mrs. Panday, I haven't had a massive amount of contact or great amount, but I'll tell you what, it is a fact Mrs. Panday does run the UNC. There's no if and but, so maybe about that. I remember one time there was a little drinking up and eating up just before the lecture, and she was shooting off and boiling on. You would manage this one, and I want this one in this constituency, and dictating a pace of who's to run where, and who's going to run where, and who would manage campaign, and all of that kind of stuff. So everybody knows. I think she sits at the table there and does nothing. She does everything behind the back. She does all the talking home, and on stage she has nothing to say.
So Ramesh, I mean, this is
excuse me, Mrs. Panday can't come around me and tell me I don't know her. I taught Mrs. Panday in primary school in TML. I told her that one night that it shocked her. I went to TML. I'm way ahead of Mrs. Panday. You understand? I know her from Taruba, and I know her a long time. San Fernando I'm from. But I don't know all of a sudden where she got this power from. I know her in a different era. This power here is a different thing.
But Ramesh, you look younger than Mrs. Panday by at least 20 years. You're telling me you taught the lady?
Yeah. Primary school, you know, long ago, it had a little thing in school, the upper standard, we teach the ABC, that kind of stuff I'm talking about now. So I'm probably about 5 years older than that.
Quite interesting, you know. Now, you know, I don't want to get into bacchanal too much, but
yeah.
I'm seeing the newspaper reports constantly, right? And I have been to 1 or 2 events and seen Mr., Mrs. and the junior Pandays in a state of drunkenness where they can't walk out. Tell me about this. Is this true? Is this not true? Because this is something the public have been asking.
Well, sir, this probably is not a time for swearing, but on this cancer that I'm dying with and sick with, and the most loved thing I have in this world is my grandson, and I would swear, they are always tight. They all drink. Mrs. Panday, Nicola Panday, Nicola Panday, they all, shoot, I used to buy the Heineken beers. When we stopped to pick up Nicola at Fernandez, we used to stop right across the road in the barn, pick it up and put it in the Prado. You understand? Many times I help them get into it or get out from it. So they are shocking. These things, it's not a shock to the world knows it, but you know, you could say it over and over and they could say no, but it's only they're lying. They're the only ones who could lie.
Now, I want to continue on this trend because I remember being at an Angostura party where they were giving long service awards one night, and it was the most despicable display I had ever seen, where your good self and Wade Mark had to physically pick up Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Omar Panday, and walk Nicola Panday out because of they weren't even able to walk. Now, I want you to bring credence to that because many people, if I say that, will say I'm just a bacchanalist and I'm looking for bacchanal.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Not just there. I remember in UNC Dollar Fentanyl, we had to do the same thing. You know what? They could sue me after this because I have long to live anyhow. But it is a fact. The nation should know. It is a fact. A pack of cigarettes from Siparia to the parliament and a bottle of Macatas or Heineken beers when she was rejected the political leadership to Ramesh Ramlochan house where they drank till 4 o'clock in the morning and I waited there. And then from there they left to go across to Mr. Warner's office where they party more. Listen, you could go on and on about a drinking fiasco. My grief with them is that why they never called after all I have done for them. You're not talking about a child, you're talking about a big man working tirelessly. You're talking about a man round the clock and you could, my picture could go in and say, oh yeah, I know him with Panday, oh I know him with Kamla, oh yeah, all the time, night, day, anywhere and everywhere. I'm not a child now, I'm a senior officer. And this is how I was treated.
Now Ramesh, you know, you are all right to have a grievance, and what I can say to you is that we at The Voice are going to do our best to make sure that you get help. I want that to go on record. We're going to do our best, right? I know you have some certificates here that we will run. You have so many of them for being trained, and just go through them quickly with us and tell us about them.
This is like, you can read it, Reconnaissance Commando. This is what Panday boasts about. He has my resume and how good I am. Recondo, a Recondo 91-3. Recondo stands for Reconnaissance Commando, trained by the United States Green Beret and Army Rangers. You understand? Look at this. Physical fitness. I taught martial arts. Perfect score. 300 out of 300. Certificate of achievement. If you read the fine writing, distinguished graduate above and beyond other soldiers in his battalion. There you go again. Company letter. Letter again for achievement, the perfect score. This is how good I was. This is just some. I was a member of this. This is elite. I was a member of the elite, the selected few, the honor guard. Honor guard are the ones who stand outside the president's house, protect presidents and prime ministers in the United States. You understand? And then he want to pass on me, take me here for a job. This is a certificate of affiliation with the United States Ordnance Corps. I am a bomb disposal specialist. I could create and put anything from Semtex, RDX, HMX, PTN, C2, C4, nitrate, cellulose. I could do it. This is my graduation certificate from the Army. And this is me getting ready here, this is myself, to go to Iraq. I was a recipient of the United States National Defense Medal, active during the last time I was in Iraq.